everybody. This is Lorraine Ball.
And Jennifer Denny.
And we're so glad you could join us today. We are going to be talking about groups on Facebook, which is where a lot of you are seeing us today.
Yes. And welcome, say hello in the chats. We always like to talk with people. Any comments? So let's start with why do people start a Facebook group? Why do they do this?
Because they're crazy? No.
They just want something else to manage. I don't know.
We started Facebook groups. You've got one. I have one. Why don't we start there? Why did you start your Facebook group? What was the purpose? And then I'll talk about mine. And then we can talk in the bigger picture about the things that Facebook did that kind of pushed us in that direction.
Yeah. So I actually started my group at the beginning of the pandemic. I just happened to see that Indiana Business Owners was available, and I'm part of a digital masterminds, which is agency owners all over the country and out of the country. And so my thought process was, let's start a group where we could share ideas and learn from each other and grow our businesses. And that was literally my whole mission was that reason. How about you?
So I started the Digital Mastermind Facebook group as a added benefit for being a member of, I said Digital Mastermind, didn't I?
You did.
I did. I started the Digital Toolbox Facebook group as an extension of the Digital Toolbox program. I thought, you're taking these classes. I had a little bit of discussion in the classes. I thought the conversations might continue there and that it would be a benefit for membership. The other, and let's talk about the bigger reasons, the things. Well, before we do, again, there are the links to our Facebook groups, and we'll put them in the chat if you're interested. But, Facebook did some things a few years ago where they started giving less visibility for business pages. You'd put up a post on your page and nobody saw it. But if you put up something in your group, members of your group would see it. And so there was a real motivation to increase organic reach with a Facebook group, because if you could build a community as a business, the group seems like a nice way to do it.
And if you remember from Facebook, they did a lot of commercials, which you didn't see for a while until Facebook groups. And they really pushed how, you could be part of this community. And, I think about Facebook's reasons for making it a group, because then Facebook didn't have to worry about content and guarding the content and what was good and what wasn't. That all of a sudden became the ownership of the group. So yes, you got this. You could increase your organic reach, but now you're responsible for this entire community and what goes inside of that group.
Absolutely. And, so pros and cons of that. All of a sudden, as a business, you have to switch your emphasis. If you're building a group as an extension of your business, you have to switch your emphasis from driving traffic to your page to driving it to your group. And so you see a lot of businesses that advertise to get people to join their group.
Right. Well, so maybe you still are posting on your page, but in your group, it's like a gated content and you can only get that's inside your group. So now you're managing two separate. And it's not a negative, it's a positive. You got to have a lot of great content though, and things that would be of value in the group. So
but the benefit is it, and you popped it up a minute ago. Let's talk benefits of having a group. The first is you're building those relationships. I see it because I'm a member of your group, and I have an opportunity when I'm over there to maybe say hello to somebody that I know in person that I haven't seen, and we can chit chat. When people share things that they've read or they're learning, it's a nice place to pick up some information. And so that's been really cool. And your group is very much focused on Indiana. So these are businesses that it is an extension of real life.
That it's like doing business within Indiana. If you do business in Indiana, and it's just your fellow business owners. So these are people that should already have the same mindset and the same problems and the same situations. And so, yeah, that was the point of it, was to get to know each other, not some of the negatives that do come with it. So,
Well, and you know, the other thing is that when you host a group, it's not just that you build brand relationships, it gives you an opportunity to kind of be that, to truly be a host. You
a
know,
leader.
a leader, you're seen as the connector. You know, suddenly I come to the group and I meet you and I meet somebody else and they meet each other, but you're the one that brought all of this together. And so you're sort of seen as the center of it, good, bad, and indifferent.
Yep. The leader always gets blamed, right? And it's always their fault. I know this. But you can show your value. And I think, when you create a group, you have to think about what is the value of this group. I see sometimes people create groups like, yes, I'm going to create this group of people and I'm going to sell them because I want them to buy this or that. Or so you got to think about like, what's the value of the group before you create it.
I also think every now and then I run into a business owner who's in a business that just doesn't lend itself to a group. I had a plumber once ask me, "Should I start a Facebook group?" And I'm like, "Who's going to join?" You know,
Well,
I'm like, "Okay, what do you want this group for?" He's like, "Well, I'm going to invite all my customers," and I'm like, "They don't want to talk about their toilets if their toilets are working."
They just want it to work.
You know, you need to, so you need to really think, yes, in certain businesses, there is value, but also I think you need to decide why do you want this
You
group?
always start with the why, guys.
And
Why am I doing this?
well, and because I think groups take on, and this is a little bit of the ugly, is groups sometimes take on a life of their own. After the 2016 election, and now some women I knew started a group called Women for Change.
Okay.
And they thought, we'll have a few hundred people. It'll be a good place for us to talk. The first event they announced on it, said like 500 or 600 women showed up. The group grew to like thousands, like overnight.
Yeah.
And you had people who were running the group who really, this was not their business. This was and because it had a little bit of a political angle, there started to be some controversy. I mean, it really got way beyond what they originally intended.
Yeah.
And they had some shifting they had to do.
I had a little bit of that, like a little, and it wasn't that much, but I mean, I know we're gonna talk about it, but like just spam. And people's definition of spam is completely different. If you're just, I know, like in my group, it's just business owners, and you want to be proud and show off what you offer and all of that, but that's not what the group was designed for. And so you got to have those good rules. That's the mission of the group. And you have to have that hard line. Okay, well, you can't post links in there, and that includes your own self, and unless, like, I think we don't have an unless. It's like you're not promoting your own business. So yeah.
And I've seen some interesting workarounds on that. Some of the, because I'm in a lot of podcast groups.
Okay.
And if you're not careful, it's just, here's my show, here's my show, here's my show, here's my show. And so the smart group organizers go, okay, today is Show Off Wednesday. Put a link to your podcast in this post. Don't put it in the feed. Put it in the post. And then that way it only stays in that post. And then they're like, and we're going to take this post down. We're going to delete this post in 24 hours or 48 hours so that you don't just keep getting new update on a post you've commented on.
Yeah, that's some serious management to get to that level. I've seen another small business group, And what I thought was interesting there, and I don't think we're quite ready to go on to the next topic, but it's a public group.
Mhm.
And what's negative about that is you've got employers trying to talk about the problems that they have, and then you have employees coming in and being like, "Oh, I see what you say," and like I've seen it gone wrong real quick.
Well, but that really does go to our next topic, which is, do you do a public group or a private group?
Hmm.
And there are pros and cons of each. If you're using the group to promote your business, you kind of need it to be public. You need it to have the widest exposure, because then if somebody shares something cool in the group, someone else can share it to their timeline.
Yeah.
If you've made your group private, even if it was really great content, people can't share it.
Hmm.
So that argues for public. But if you're trying to create exclusivity, or like you said, have
Yeah.
conversations, and I made the mistake. I started private because it was supposed to be members only.
Right.
Well, I have 500 members now, and I would like to take the group public, but I can't. You
Yeah.
can't.
I
But
started public and then went private, and I actually didn't know that that was a good thing at the time. It was just dumb luck, I guess. So yeah, it's a really good point for sure.
well, but why did you go from public to private?
Because it's about business ownership, and like I just didn't want everybody in there. And so literally like I have to come in, like you have questions to like say, what's the name of your business, what's your web address, email address. I actually don't really follow up with like emails or anything like that. I just don't spam the group. But I want to know that you are a legitimate business owner, and if you don't answer the questions, I don't let you in. So it was just like this, oh, it needs to be private because these are business owners. And when you talk about business ownership, you want to be amongst other business owners because unfortunately, it's kind of two different fields. Not everybody understands each other from employee to employer. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is.
It is. Well, and I think, the one of the things that we really haven't talked about is creating engagement, because, and this is the thing I struggle with the digital toolbox, and we didn't even have a little banner on this, but it's not enough to just put a group there and, hey, here we are.
Yeah.
You have to be asking good questions. You have to be finding ways to generate conversations. And I struggle with that in the group. So, hey, if you're watching, put a comment.
Yeah, like I don't want to be the only one like trying to keep everybody engaged. Like there is definitely a lot of time, and I think of good things to post every now and then, but I don't think I do the greatest job of keeping the group engaged. In fact, I think I do a lot of like trying to keep the spam out more than anything, because maybe some people see an opportunity to be able to get their exact target market like within the group, and I'm like, I see why, but that's not what this is for. Like ask engaging questions, get to know people, and then they will want to do business with you. Like that's how that works. It's called networking.
So, we could talk about groups for a really long time, but what
Yeah.
I really want to encourage, if you are thinking about a group, the very best thing to do is join a lot of groups, check them out, see who's doing it well and wrong way. See who's doing it well and who's still working on it. But the group is good, and I enjoy going and hanging out there. So
I did that though. Somebody was like, well, if you like want your own group rules or you want it to be this way or that way, make your own group. I'm like, okay, I will.
but I mean, really get to know what, go to groups and figure out what you like. Why do you like the group I go to the most when I'm on Facebook is my neighborhood group. I mean, that really and truly. And it's because I know these people and I feel connected to them. So I also have a podcast women's group that I really like. Again, I was at a conference, I met some of these people, and, so figure that out and then use it on your group.
Yep, I like to stay informed in my neighborhood group too. But the bickering makes me want to get some popcorn sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. We do, but good and bad, and again, that's a whole different topic. But let's wrap here. I really want to say to anybody who's watching, we do these, we post these chats in our groups. We do put it publicly, and the reason I put it publicly is so I can share it. But come check out the groups, get to know us beyond the 10 seconds, 10 minutes of brilliance every Friday.
There you go. All right. Take care, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.